Hey tankers, it's Raktajino here, coming to you with another World of Tanks video. Today I'm going to have a look at the Object 777 version 2. Another reward tank coming out of the Frontlines mode, which we're obviously getting to the end of now and people are starting to pick up these tanks. So I thought I'd have a look at the stats, check out some gameplay and how it kind of compares up to a lot of the other tier 9 Russian heavy tanks. So let's jump into the stats of the tank. Of course, jumping into tanks.gg again. Thoroughly recommend using tanks.gg. It's definitely where I go to check out each tanks, look at their stats, and pull up their 3D models so I can see where I need to try and punch through a tank when I do find that I come up against them in the game. It's the Object 777-2. Thought I would compare it up against the tier 9 tanks that I tend to play a bit more, being the T10 and the Object 257. But of course, as I was going through that, I realized there's actually more than enough tanks to compare it with. So obviously not, definitely spoiled for choice when it comes to a tier 9 Russian heavy tank. So I thought, well, let's have a look at them all and see how the Object 777 actually compares. Now, myself being a fairly aggressive player, I always go straight at the firepower, which is good because that's first off the rank anyway. DPM straight away noticing down a bit, just under 1900. That is lower than all tanks. STI-1 closest with 1984. Penetration sitting at 258. It's actually pretty good. So same as the T10, same as the ST1. Object 257 sitting a little bit below at 248. Damage-wise, we're hitting for 440 on average per shot, same as the Object 257 and T10. The only one that is going to give you a bit of a bigger hit is going to be your Object 705 with 490. So really, just off the, just looking out of the damage totals and the penetration, I'm kind of looking at this going, why would I really play this more than an Object 257 or a T10? I'm not really sold on this tank just yet. Rate of fire, 4.32 rounds per minute, lower than just about everything across the board, across from the Object 705, sitting at 4.08. Shell velocity, pretty standard, 940, same as the T10 and ST1. Object 257, absolute standout here though, with 1259. Alright, let's keep going down. Ammo capacity, 40 shells. So 40 shells at 440 average damage, giving us a potential damage of 17,600 damage. It's enough to get through a game. Alright, so what are we going to find here that's going to make this Object 777-2 stand out for me? Gun handling, aim time looking at 2.9 seconds, same as the 257. It's not as good as the T10, sitting at 2.8, but then you get the 705 IS-32, which I've been playing through at the moment, and the STI all sitting at kind of 3 and 3.4 respectively. So it's actually really not too bad when it comes to the aim time. Dispersion sitting at 0.42, not as good as the 257, way worse than the T10, but better than the 705. Well, we're going to have to keep moving down, looking to see what we can find. Here is something finally. So, gun elevation, 18 degrees. 18 degrees on the gun elevation, which is way better than the 257 T10. But the 705 and the IS-32 just outshine it here with 20 degrees of gun elevation. Gun depression, 6 degrees. You know, it's okay. 257 has 5, T10's got 5, 705 has 5 as well. IS-32 has 8. I guess we'll have to see where that gun depression is though, as does the ST1. Or the STI, sorry. Moving down to mobility, 40 kilometers per hour on that forward movement speed. Again, just not as good as the 257 or T10. You can see a bit of a pattern coming out here. Reverse speed, pretty average for a Russian heavy tank. The only one slower is the STI, sitting on 13, going backwards. Engine power, 750, exactly the same as the T10. 257 having a 257, 705, and IS-32 all having more powerful engines. Weight, well, this is probably where you get the best news. The Object 777-2, it is at least the lightest heavy tank out of the bunch. But of course, coming just under 50 tons and having an engine power of 750, it's leaving us with a power to weight ratio of 15.06. Really not too bad in the scheme of things. 257 coming in again with 15.45. and the other Russian heavies just not being able to really keep up. So the power to weight ratio is actually pretty good for the Object 7772. So despite the forward speed being capped at 40, I think we might be able to see this kind of move around. I've got some gameplay to check out later, so we'll have to see how that goes. When it comes to the resistances, nothing too special again. Again, just being outshone by the Object 257. Really is quite a nice tank. Armor and health. We're looking at hull armor. So the front plate, 132 mil. It actually is a little bit stronger than the 257 here, just by that 2 mil. Stronger than the T10. 705's got the bigger front plate, and that's okay. So does the IS-32 and the STI, that 150 mil as well. Turret armor. 258 millimeters. Well, that's really not a bad turret at all. 257's got the 350, and the 705, the only other one, kind of coming over there at the 300. When it comes to health, we're packing 1850 HP. Not quite as much as the 257. It's only 50 HP less though, and 50 more than the T10. Engine health sitting at 320. Trying not to get lit on fire too much. That's alright, we'll have to see where that engine is located and how often that fire tends to bust out. View range 380, so it is I won't say one of the worst, it seems to be fairly standard for a Russian heavy tank to have 380 base view range. T10 400 obviously being a bit more of a nimble tank and lightly armoured, or lighter armoured I should say, and the Object 257 having the 390 just giving that extra 10. Alright, let's jump into the 3D model of the Object 777 version 2 here. So just checking out the front of the tank, because this is where you're going to see them most of the time, trying to take them on. So have a look at the upper plate straight away. Well, I can already see, but you're going to need between 300 and just forget about it. So I would not be worrying about that upper plate at all. The mid plate is where you get a bit of a better chance, 230 millimeters of penetration needed there, so a lot of tier 8 tanks aren't really going to punch through that. The lower side of the mid plate sitting at about 207, 208. That's definitely where you want to try and aim. That's where you're going to get it. And of course, if you can, like most Russian heavy tanks, the lower plate there is going to give you your best chance at penetrating. Now, when this thing is front on, I'm seeing green on the turret there. So let's have a look at the roof of the turret. It might be green, but I tell you what, it's pretty well angled, it's pretty well rounded, and that's where we're just seeing just automatic ricochets. So don't be thrown off by the fact that it's showing green there. Cupolas really being your only kind of weak spot, and I stress weak spot when you're looking at it up front. You're definitely going to pen that, only needing 165, but look how thin that cupola is. That is going to be quite a hard shot to pull off. It can be done. I have definitely seen it done. The Defender's got kind of similar cupolas. They may be actually a little bit bigger, and you can definitely hit those. So I'm sure that you might be able to get the odd shot into those cupolas. Checking out this tank when it is side scraping. So if it's side scraping like a corner, let's get this turret moved around to point at us. If he's looking around a corner, where do we want to get? Where do we want to shoot? Well, again, the cupola is actually probably your best chance here, because if we look down the side of this tank, this is an absolute side scraping monster. 400 pen the whole way along. There's absolutely no way to get through that. There's really not even kind of anything through the tracks here. You might be able to just get it through the front of the track. 251 pen needed. We'll have to see if you can sneak a shot in. Of course, not firing heat, you're going to have to put AP or APCR through there, otherwise it'll just be absorbed by the tracks. So, absolutely side-scraping beast. Maybe we'll see some of that in the gameplay. Speaking of, let's jump into that, and we'll see how this tank performs on the battlefield. So back on the EU server today, we have Tapmanx playing the Object 777 version 2 for us. I'm just going to call in Tap for the replay. Now, of course, this is the best matchmaking you can get, sitting top of the tree, or top of the tiers, sorry. Tier 9 and Tier 8 game on Highway. So kicking off here, pretty standard start for the team. seeing a lot of the mediums going up to that A1 corner and a lot of the heavies heading into the town. So it looks like Tap is matched up against another reward tank, which we haven't quite covered just yet. That is the AE Phase 1 American Tier 9 reward tank from Frontlines. But of course we can also see there is an object 777 version 2 on the other team as well. So we're heading into the town here. At this point, I'm just kind of usually looking around the map, seeing how that A1 corner is going, because I'm not expecting to run across any heavy tanks just yet. Leopard PTA just spotting out that batch at 25T AP up there now. Skoda T50 backing him up, because they don't know what friends that batch at 25T has with him. Not too much going on up there, as the Pantera is also spotted up there. We can see Taps coming right the way on the down the 0 line to this outside corner, and I thought he was going to show us some of that amazing side scraping capability that we saw earlier on the 3D model. Doesn't look like just yet. Going to try and get a nice aggressive position. Now, of course, would have been spotted on that corner, and here's where we should get to see some of that side scraping. So an early shot onto that AE Phase 1. Tries to track that Liberté, doesn't quite get it as he manages to pull around that corner. So VK spotted out. You can see he's not quite here yet. Again, side scraping off this corner, and there we go. One shot ricocheted from that IS-2 version 2. Now we're going to keep side scraping. There's no way they're going to go through the side of this tank right now. And another one into that IS-2 version 2. So already up to 1,300 damage, 3 shots into the game. Looks like it's going to be a pretty passive standoff here, which of course is the way it tends to go a fair bit in this town, unless you've got that Lerva, which we do have that Lerva pushing around. Alright, side scraping up, looking for that shot. There's that AE Phase 1 into the turret. There it is. Just giving it the time to actually zoom in here. Team's looking a little bit worse for wear. We are sitting 0-4 right now. And the usual compliments going on in chat. But the brawl goes on in the city here. Going to need to try and push on a bit as the team is starting to crumble. And of course all the mediums are going to start pushing in. So Tap, realizing this, puts his finger on the W key. Let's get in there and see how we can brawl it out with this tank. Sitting on 1,800 damage, only a few minutes into the game so far. Team's managed to pull 2 kills back. Alright, object 777 version 2 versus 777 version 2. Of course, Tap does have backup here. There's the side scrape. And we've already seen you're absolutely not going to get one through there. Will Tap try and do the same thing? No. Looks like he's well aware of how this tank performs. Pulls back, gets one into that bottom plate, which we know is the easiest place to get this. Alright, we can see a bit of a cupola snipe off here. Manages to get the shot into that cupola. Tap returning one into the bottom plate. Liberté to the side there, but he gets taken out. Alright, 6-7 starting to normalize here for Tap in the object. 777 version 2. Gonna side scrape out against the other version 2 right now. Going for that cupola shot. Will we get it? No. Alright, so manages to bounce one off the cupola of the other 777, but cops one back in return. Now the other 777 does fall down there, equalizing the game at 8 apiece now. So where to go from here? And that's always the question, right? So at this point of the game, our mediums have kind of lost. We've got a light tank running around the base that has already taken out the artillery and is now chasing around that 295. There's no way they can, no way that they can defend themselves. A lot of the heavies, especially on the ANZ and Asia server, tend to continue pushing down that J line, try and get into the enemy's base, which of course puts them in the line of all these tank destroyers. Now, Turtle 1 spotted out. Looks like he's got the front of it. Does manage to put one through the front. Sitting on 3,000 damage here. 3,100. Already a pretty good game. Puts in another blind shot where the turtle was last spotted. Pretty slow armored tank, that one. Don't think he was going to run around too much. Does look like the T95 must have been able to actually deal with that LT432. Did miss that while I was watching Tap put shots into that turtle here. T44 just goes unspotted as that shot goes flying through the air. But that T44 didn't look like it was really moving, so we can be pretty sure it was a decent hit into him. Still a very, very close game. 9 kills to 10. Down a tank at the moment. Neither team has light tanks, so both a little strained for vision at the moment. But of course, the enemy team having a few more medium tanks is going to help out. So you got the Pantera sitting there, and you've also got that T44. But that T44 we know wasn't doing too much spotting. Waffentrager is just spotted out in the open there, so that's another nice, easy shot right into that turret. That turret's going to take anything you can throw at it. Another shot here should, and somehow managed to bounce that. We'll let that one go. I'm not too sure what kind of armor that came off. There's that Pantera now. So Pantera pushing onto that T95 would not have known that that IS-6 had actually rotated back. IS-6 certainly should be able to deal with that Pantera. So the last thing you want to do in a Pantera is dump out all of your shots. Bit of a snapshot there over that ridge. Looked like it was going to miss, but on the server had to have just clipped the back of that Pantera. So another couple of hundred damage there. 454 damage onto the back of that Pantera from that snapshot. Really goes to show you miss every shot you don't take. Didn't look like he had any right to be getting that damage, but 454 picked up for clicking at the right time. Alright, what to do here? We know the VK is, our VK is anyway, sitting in the town. We'll at least have a few eyes kind of going down that J line to see what the other team is doing. Tap probably needs to spend a little bit more time watching where he's driving. Turtle 1 spotted out on the other side of the map, right on that red line though. Hopefully that VK can deal with him. We've got a bit of a team forming up here, regrouping on this line. Looks like they're going to push around. Tap going first in the object, 777 version 2. Progetto 46 in tow, and the IS-6 kind of backing them up. Sniping from the bushes by the looks of it. Alright, so not too much going on for either side at the moment. Of course, if the artillery is doing a bit of overwatch across the map, they would have seen those trees and that house being absolutely demolished. Probably not something you really want to do as you're trying to keep unspotted, or at least keep information away from the enemy team. Now the Waffentrager somehow has managed to get all the way up here, so it gets spotted out. Gets one into the side, needs to turn that tank, needs to make sure we are side scraping against that Waffentrager. Goes for the bit of a ram, bit of a nudge, knocks off the tank, and should be able to put one into the back of him, finishing him off. Unfortunately, he was able to take out our Progetto 46. So that's leaving Tap on his own kind of back here, the IS-6 just sitting back and I guess trying to snipe away. Probably had a shot or two onto that Waffentrager, but I don't recall seeing anything kind of connecting. Alright, Tap's trying to put on his carry pants here, moving up into the enemy base. Can we try and spot a few out? Can we get the artillery? That'll definitely help out the VK. Alright, VK spotted now. Of course, no artillery's here to help out our hero. One on the enemy team manages to snipe the cupola of that VK-101P. Certainly not the easiest shot, but it feels good when you get it. Alright, going for another shot here. Looks like we have the front of the tank. Goes to the upper plate. That was not going to penetrate. Needed to go for that lower plate if we want to get through here. Looks like we got a bit the side of the tank. Tries to side scrape, but it turns out that VK is shooting HE. Gives him the side, which of course he's going to be happy to take that free damage. Alright, now it's a bit of a brawl between the object 777 and the VK. Gets one into the front. Another HE shot into the front of the tank. Managing to do 254 damage for that HE. Now he's got the side of the tank, just waiting for the reload, and there goes the VK-101P. Only a few tanks to go now. T-44, Turtle 1 up there with kind of duking it out with the VK-101P. There's the Artie, and he's gone. Alright, so we don't have to worry about artillery being too much of a pain for the rest of the game. Two more tanks to go now. T-44, there he is, so he's spotted out. Onto the turret. Gonna ricochet onto that turret. Firing heat at the moment, 5 shells to go. Probably doesn't need the heat shells here. Normal AP would have been fine. Turtle 1 spotted out there. Have a quick look, see if we can give the VK a hand. Doesn't look like it. He's on the other side of that house. Waited for the T-44 to come round. Probably isn't too aware that you can actually see through the middle of that structure, as it is a bit of a barn house. So last tank to go now, Turtle 1. Oh, what an absolute heartbreak. What a shocker. Alright, so Turtle 1 manages to get the snipe across the map to end our hero here. Looks like he had thrown out the platoon invite to the T-95, trying to get that brothers in arms. He was pretty confident he was going to get through that. Looks like T-95 also falls to the Turtle 1, so it's up to this IS-6 now. 2 minutes left to go on this game. IS-6 against the Turtle 1. Can he get there? We'll have to see. Interesting question, asking the IS-6 if he was AFK, because he did kind of say that he was back before, so maybe he wasn't sniping from those bushes all along. Maybe he was just AFK and sitting in those bushes so he wouldn't get spotted. Of course, Turtle 1 knows exactly where he is. IS-6 taking the gamble here that we're going to... Apparently not going to try and cap out. He's going to try and take on that Turtle head on. 129 HP, only really needs to land the one shot here. Fires off, it doesn't look like he even hits. Really needed to take the time to aim that one, but of course cops 2 in return, and that's it for the IS-6. So a bit of a defeat here. Unlucky for our hero, so let's have a look to see how we went in that tank. So it ends up being a defeat. Nice little mastery in the object 777 version 2 here. 8,335 damage done, so there must have been a couple of shots. Those blind shots that we saw did actually connect. Of course, there was one into the T-44. I don't quite remember where the other one was going into. 8,000 damage done. 1,640 blocked. And just the 416 assist damage. 4 kills. But not quite enough to get us over the line here. You can see Tap in his object 777 version 2. Absolutely pick of the team. 8 grand. It's well and truly above anything anyone else was able to do. Looking at the other team as well, top there being 33, just under 3,400 damage done in that Waffenträger. Credits wise, being a reward tank, how do we go there? So we walk away with a 112,000 credit, or at least earned anyway. Did end up paying a few credits. I think I'll put that down to certainly some unnecessary heat shells. Ended up paying 26,000 back to the bank. So that is it for the object 777 version 2. My thoughts on the tank. I mean, look, it looks like an okay tank, absolutely. I guess there's a lot of tier 9 Russian heavy tanks to kind of pick from. Would the Object 777 be my first choice? Probably not. I'm still much more likely to kind of play an Object 257 or a T10. Of course, if you're crew training, then maybe you would go for this kind of tank. I think when it comes to picking the reward tank that you want to get out of Frontlines, if you get the tokens to actually redeem that, it's really up to you, your kind of play style, and what tanks you kind of focus on a fair bit as well. Look, I hope you liked the video. If you did like what you saw here today, please leave a like on the channel. Please feel free to share it around. And hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. I am planning on doing a few more videos. I do have another Frontline reward tank, the AE Phase 1, that I do need to cover. That'll be up in a day or so. And then I'm also looking to start covering a bit more of the general news around World of Tanks just to kind of help explain things and start a few conversations. That's going to be it for my video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.